Hey guys, this is Ryan from 60 Cycle Hum, the Guitar Podcast. We're back with Paul Anderberg.
We're back.
How you doing, Paul?
I'm doing good. It's a Sunday afternoon. We're just kind of chilling.
What'd you have for lunch, Paul?
I had a BLT. It was actually really good. I know.
We're BLT buddies.
Did you have one too?
I had a BLT too.
Yay!
BLTs are like my Sunday tradition lately.
That's always good.
I stop by the grocery store. I pick up a tomato. I get the lettuce. I've got bacon in the freezer because I'm an American.
I mean, come on.
I've stocked up in case bad things happen.
That's probably the most patriotic thing I've ever heard.
So,
you have bacon in the freezer.
We should talk about what we're actually going to talk about.
Yeah, we probably should get
like a week or two ago, you got yourself a Jackson.
Yes.
Prism
Jackson
here.
Audium Prism. So that's what we're talking about today. So this is a pedal that has been kind of marketed as a boost.
Yeah, in their official demos and whatnot, they call it a boost over and over and over again. And it's really neat, like the color changes on the LED. I don't know if you can see that when you twist the knob.
Cool touch, actually.
It's it makes me want to bust this out at a rave or something. You know.
I'll be honest. I don't actually play when I
Yeah,
have it.
yeah.
I just flip it back and forth. And
Yeah, you're not the first person to tell that joke today.
Yeah, is it? Wow.
You don't actually play. You just twiddle the knobs.
I just twiddle the knobs. And,
So, why did you buy this super expensive only clean boost pedal?
So supposedly this only boost pedal. You know, I've been a follower of Jackson's stuff for a while, Brad Jackson's stuff with their amps. I've never actually owned one of his amps, I'll be honest.
I'm kind of surprised. You like that higher end stuff. You like that pricey stuff.
I've had Morgans, I've had Matchless, I've had, a lot of other stuff. I've never actually owned a Matchless Chieftain. It's become a really basic amp now.
Yeah, it's really run of the mill. Everyone has one.
It's like the Olive Garden of amps. So I've never actually owned a Jackson though, but I've always loved the tone of them, and love what he's done and the ingenuity behind it. So when I heard that he was pairing up with Nigel Hendroff, I know Nigel knows what he wants in his pedals because, we've kind of seen that with the Scarlet Love. They've come out with 3 versions, Selah now, when they've collaborated. So to see Nigel actually design something was for me kind of like, all right, I got to see this. And so, I picked it up. I didn't know what to expect.
So you bought this thing just kind of like, I like the people involved. I want to check this out.
Yeah. So I'll be honest. So you've seen I buy used a lot. Just buy and sell. Whatever.
You do
try stuff.
You do the same stuff that Steve and I do. Only we buy and sell $40 pedals. You buy and sell. Like there's there's like multiple zeros involved with the gear that you buy. But then you sell it, and you for the most part, you think you break even?
Yeah, I at least break even, maybe a little bit. I'm not trying to make a profit. I'll be honest. Like when I buy and sell stuff, I'm not trying to make a profit on it. I try to be smart about it. I try to be stupid about it. But at the same time, I just want to try different things. Like I, recently picked up, a couple new pedals, a hand-wired 808 and a Mulholland Drive and stuff like that, just to see what they sound like in a mix. If I don't like it, I'll sell it. I'll flip it. The dirty word that we...
That's not a dirty word. That's a beautiful word.
Well, for the people taking the money, it is. Yeah. But honestly, it's just about trying things and seeing what works with your rig. So I picked this up just wanting to see what it would look like with my rig.
Right off the bat, I think we were talking about it being called a boost. I just think it's funny how dirty this thing gets.
Yeah, I think that is a misnomer. It is a boost in the sense that it's supposed to hit your amp hard and push into overdrive. In that sense, it's a boost. But then again, you could probably call an overdrive a boost.
I have a lot of fuzzes that are boosts.
Sure. Yeah. By that standard, you can take an 808, throw the the gain down, throw the level up, and that overdrive has now become a boost. So anything that hits your amp harder is technically a boost. Yes, I can kind of see that. But
I'm sure they mean it in the same way that people use like a clon in a boost sort of way. like there's dirt available, but use this as a boost sort of concept.
Exactly. And so I think that's kind of the thought behind it. So, I watched a couple of videos of this. I watched Nigel's recent pedal board breakdown with reverb, I think it was, and just to see kind of how he uses it. I'm like, all right, let's see what this is. So he uses it as a preamp. So if the designer of the pedal uses a preamp,
sure,
it's probably safe to say you should probably start with it there.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a bad idea.
Yeah. So I run this, and I usually try to run everything into a loop so that I can control whether it's on and off or on or off. So this is the first pedal that I've actually had outside of a loop, like as an always on.
Interesting.
Which is rare. Like I'm kind of a control freak a little bit. Like I want to be able to control whether it's, I don't want to have to press on a pedal itself because that's just stupid.
Yeah, it's just dumb.
It's just dumb.
You'll see his pedal board. I either played it at the beginning of the demo or I'll play it at the end. I've got a shot of his full pedal board, and that's not even the full thing. He's got pedals hiding under the board.
Yeah, it took a dark turn when I started putting things under the board.
Paul's got a problem.
Yeah. So, that said, I started off with this thing and just trying a couple of different things on it. So it has 3 major types of gain, if you will.
Sure.
So it has. I think you will. I'm pretty sure you will. So it has color, which is more like, from what I've seen, kind of like treble booster sort of a vibe.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's probably a little more technical stuff that goes into it. An amp mode, which is, I think, a MOSFET circuit, which is just more touch sensitive.
Gotcha.
Amp-like, and then a transparent, and then from there you have
Is transparent like what you would think of more as like a clean boost? Is that pretty clean?
Yeah, I would say if you're really looking at this as a clean boost, transparent mode all day, every day, and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Low gain transparent mode, and then just ride the boost knob. So it's not a typical overdrive pedal where it has a gain knob. So it actually just has a gain.
Interesting.
Three on the left side. There's a low, a medium, and a high gain.
So it's like you're adjusting the volume, you're adjusting the output volume, and then switching in different clipping options, basically.
Yeah, switching different clipping options and switching between 3 different types of gain. So I kind of equate it to, it's kind of like when you have a Gretsch, one of the newer ones that has the tone switch.
Sure.
Instead of kind of like the mud switch, as people say, instead of the tone knob. A tone knob is more linear, whereas the tone switch is between capacitors.
It's just an option.
Gives you different options. It's like having it on 10, having it on 7, having it on 3. I forget which one's which. But this is kind of the same vibe with this. So instead of having a linear gain knob, they've just kind of simplified it a little
Interesting. Bit. The case is really interesting. This thing is heavy. I'm wondering how much of that is guts and how much of that is the case itself. But the case feels like stainless steel or something like that. Like this heavy folded metal case. It looks beautiful.
Yeah, the thing looks flight ready.
Yeah.
Like
how much do these things go for? I'm not going to ask you what you paid.
I think it was $259 that they go for. We reserve the right to be wrong on that one.
Yeah. I mean, whatever they go for is what they go for. Yeah. Paul doesn't remember. He just throws buckets of money out the window.
Whatever. In this section right over here will be a comment of how much it actually is. So try to fit it within these.
To get in there.
Right in here. I mean, they just started hitting the market new.
I'll unplug this thing now.
There's not any new ones in there, or not any used ones circulating out right now, because I think everyone that's bought one. I mean, I always look on the used market just to see kind of like where the hype's been, where it's going to go between any pedal and kind of the
Paul
resale
follows
value.
The hype market pretty closely. What's trading up, what's trading down. This is a regular hype market.
So I haven't seen a single used one of these yet. Now, I mean, they're really new at this point.
Yeah.
But the fact that you don't see any used ones is actually an interesting sign that, I mean, people are, for at least the past month or so, holding on to them.
Do you think there's any upsale value on these? Have you watched it at all? Like the way, like sometimes like a pedal will come out and it'll be really popular and it'll sell out, and there's like a back order like 3 months.
Yeah, and so people will sell them for like $400
Right,
each.
right.
I have not seen any of that with this.
Interesting.
So That's interesting because usually you see that King of Tone, you see that on a lot of the ones it's back ordered. So I'm gonna sell it. Hey, you don't have to wait for it. You can buy it at this price, $450, $600, whatever.
With the small amount that you've used it so far, do you think it's a pedal that people who aren't a fan of Jackson, aren't a fan of Nigel, should look at, or is it kind of, is it a fanboy pedal? It's not dirty to say that. It's not wrong to say it.
We can, I think at this point, I haven't tried it with much other than kind of AC30 type amps. I'll be honest.
Mm-hmm. We were using the 15 over here, the AC15.
Yeah, and I mean, this sounds great through the 15. It sounds good through my amps that I run at church.
Not just Chieftain.
Not just Chieftain. Again, it's the Applebee's of amps. But, I mean, it sounds good through those. How this sounds through the Princeton, I mean, maybe we can run that afterwards and see how it goes with, like, Fender-type amps.
Sure.
But from everything that I can see on here, it's not so much of a, really making you, like, you throw a Tube Screamer on and it immediately transforms your tone into something that, is very polarizing. Whereas this, there's a lot of different options, one of them being completely clean. So if you wanted, I would suppose, at least in the transparent mode, if you wanted to run it with a Fender amp with a Dumble type circuit,
sure.
I mean, it would kind of go into there.
It seems like you can use it to push your amp into your amp's natural characteristics, the way you would with a standard boost. And then you have some other options there to get slightly different flavors. I'm sure the amp mode, I'm sure all the modes go very well with a Jackson amp.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
It just goes great with the amp from the same company.
No, for sure. But I mean, so I usually use this in the amp mode. Lately, I ran the whole set with it today in amp mode on low gain. And there were even times I didn't throw any other pedals on. I just kept it as whatever. Just start digging into it, and it would give back. The week before, I ran with it on amp mode in medium gain, and basically I ran that the entire set. I barely throw on. I didn't think I threw on any other dirt pedals. I just rode the dynamics of this.
It always is exciting, but it bums me out when I load my pedal board with 4 or 5 drive pedals. I got a fuzz, 2 transparents, and then a high gain or something like that.
And then you only use a boost pedal.
And then I just use one pedal, the whole set,
and a boost at that.
Yeah.
It's kind of it makes you go back and be like, well, where could I have used? But if it works, it works.
Yeah, exactly.
So from what I can see, I mean, the versatility on it in terms of touch sensitivity and dynamics, at least on amp mode, is there for me to where I didn't use any other pedals for an entire set.
I mean, it works. It makes the sound that you like.
Yeah, and it sounded good. And I'm usually kind of OCD about going through. How many pedals have I been through?
I know. I don't even know, man. Yeah. The time that I've known you, you've completely changed rigs.
Oh yeah,
over and over and over again.
Yeah, I think we were talking about before how it goes. AXFX.
Yeah.
So the AXFX, and it's just kind of
Kemper.
Kemper, yeah.
Sell the Kemper or get pedals to go with the Kemper.
It's so true.
Buy amps to model with the Kemper.
No, it's so true though. I think since in the past 2 years, I think I've been through an entire 3 different rigs. So I mean, I'm kind of picky about what I use for pedals.
You have a problem.
I have a problem. Oh, yeah. That's goes without saying.
Later on, we're gonna lay hands on Paul and pray for him.
Intervention.
That's really what this is set up for an intervention.
An on-screen intervention. I knew.
Okay, everyone, come in.
Oh. You lured me in here with scotch and BLTs, and then it's an intervention the whole time.
Okay,
I had a feeling.
So real talk here. Yeah. We're talking about how much you buy and sell, and you're always flipping your rig. Mm-hmm. How likely do you think it is that you'll sell this relatively soon? I'm talking under 6 months. I mean, that's soon for me if I was to get something new.
So I thought it's rare that I buy anything new. I usually try to buy used. I try to be smart about it. This is the first pedal I have actually bought new in about 2 or 3 years, and that's because I did research on it. I watched these videos, and I saw this is a really good preamp pedal when it comes to shaping your tone overall. So I don't think I'll be selling in the next 6 months. I think I'm gonna give this one some time because there is
7 months.
Seven months, 6 months and a day, and it's on Reverb.
You've made a commitment.
I know.
You'll check the timestamp on the video when I publish it, and make a calendar reminder.
I know, right? But it's.
I mean, when Paul sells something, it doesn't mean that it's bad. It just means that Paul has found something else good.
It's so true. Yeah, if you see something for sale by me, and I'm kind of known for the whole no trades thing, even though I still take in other gear like afterwards, but it's because I'm very picky. But still, I mean, the fact that even as picky as I am, I was able to go through a whole set just in medium gain on the amp mode. It means something.
Yeah.
And I that really was shocking for me. So I think this has been an always on thing for the past 2 weeks. I foresee me using it at least 6 months. Again, 6 months in a day, check back and kind of see where that goes.
We'll do a follow-up video. Paul, do you still have it 6 months from now? No, I sold it.
Yeah, I sold it. Sold it yesterday, actually. 6 months in a day. It's gone.
On the day. I tried to, tried to control myself and I couldn't. So, what kind of player do you think should be looking at this?
So,
someone with nearly $300.
Someone with $259, or if it's different in this little box, it should appear, dollars. Honestly, it's not that if you... Okay, so let's get a misnomer out of the way.
Here we go.
Just because you have an always-on pedal doesn't mean you should get a different amp because you don't like your tone. I honestly
I like where we're going with this.
Because I mean that's a thought that people have.
Yeah, you're using pedals to fix your amp, which is I'm going to say it right now. It's complete nonsense.
Yeah, I don't think just because you use a pedal that's always on, that doesn't mean that you're unhappy with your amp. If you play your amp with all pedals off and you just really still don't like the tone, maybe get a new amp. But I like the tone I get out of my amps. This is more just, it gives it a little extra something. Using it always on, it just gives it a little bit more grit, a little bit more just flavor to it. So I think someone, it's hard to say what the market would necessarily be for this. I don't know. That's the right answer. I think someone that likes their amp tone, but just wants a little something extra.
Yeah, they like their amp, but they want to push it a little bit, or they want to get a little drive. To me, it seems like a no-brainer. Like, how much are Jackson amps?
Yeah, like 1,800 U's. I would go for like 2,200 to 3,200 U's.
And again, we might put up a price here to refute what we're saying here.
Right in that box, right?
They're outside of my price range. These are expensive high-end amps. If you're the type of person that buys, these high-end amps with these big stickers on them, God bless you. You're putting braces on teeth for Jackson's families. That's great. But it's not going to be a big deal for you to pull the trigger on a pedal from the same company that's designed to go with your amp. We've seen this recently. With Milkman. I was talking to Tim at Winter NAMM, and he just got the JHS pedal designed for him. That goes with his amp. It's a slapback delay or echo with a boost built in, and people are like, oh, why would I buy a $100 somewhat whatever price it is slapback echo with a boost built in? Well, if you buy a Milkman amp, it's like you're the type of person who has the budget to get the pedal too, and you have a matching set. It's the same thing with this. You get a Jackson amp, you want the matching set. And you're like, these guys know their audience. They make good stuff. No one goes like, oh, these guys make garbage. They're not pulling one over on anyone. Like, no, I see the market there. Obviously, it's not aimed at guys like me who like to buy, like $40 pedals on Craigslist. But for guys like you, it's It makes more sense. You like to buy and sell in a higher dollar bracket, and there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
It's just, different strokes for different folks.
Yeah.
So if it works, it works. The way music resale is, you can get most of your money back on most of this stuff. If I wanted to get into high-end amps and super expensive pedals, I could do it without being afraid of losing too much money.
Oh, not at all.
That's the way this stuff works. Like, unless something goes terribly wrong, stuff kind of flips easily. Yeah. Especially if it's desirable,
Yeah. No, it's very true. That's very true. So, I mean, I'm sure these are probably going to be hitting the used market probably, I'd say, in another 2 months.
You think they'll hit under 200? You think they'll be above 200?
I think they'll start out around 215.
Okay.
We see that with some pedals that are not quite as mass marketed, like let's say the Scarlet Love. It's you rarely see those the version 3 under like 215. It rarely ever breaks 200. I think we aren't going to see one of these under 200 for a little bit. And I don't think we might not ever. But honestly,
they might go up.
Yeah,
I mean, this could be the new Klon, right, guys?
You never know. But honestly, I think personally, I see the value as being there.
Sure. Sure.
So that's,
I mean, if you like the sound and it gets you the sound you want, it's like, and you use it often, this, in the grand scheme of things, this stuff actually doesn't cost that much. It's not like there's so many hobbies that cost so much more than this.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Well, I always used to run and still, tinker with it every once in a while. But up until I had this pedal, I used to run a Morning Glory is always on. And I think a lot of guys do that. It's kind of like the bass tone. A lot of guys use a pedal as a bass tone. This is modifying your tone less than some of those other pedals.
Sure.
Like a Morning Glory that's really blues breaker circuit, modified blues breaker circuit that really does change actually the sound of your amp.
It gives you a color. Like, it's a flavor.
This not as much coloration, but just touch dynamics is where it's at on there for me.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think we have anything else left to say, right?
No.
Slam dunk. We did it.
Yeah.
High five, Paul.
Good job.
All right. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned for some more Paul's playing.
Yeah.
See you later.